Nova Arbor wasn't the kind of place you planned to end up, and it was where people landed when life had other ideas. To Leo Vance, a mechanic from Earth's Rust Belt zones, it was just another alien city with glowing streets, floating towers, and rules no one explained. He liked it that way. No expectations, no attachments, just oil-stained gloves, greasy jumpsuits, and machines that made sense even when people didn't. Leo spent his nights fixing off-world hoverpods in a garage wedged between a noodle stall and an illegal data bazaar. He liked the rhythm. Sparks flew, music blared. The alien customers mostly kept to themselves until one evening. When everything changed, she stepped into the garage like a blade through mist. Tall, silver-skinned, with glowing bands trailing down her arms like flowing rivers of light. Her name was Ashera, and her eyes black, endless, strange locked onto Leo's the second she entered. "Are you the human engineer?" she asked. Leo blinked. "Mechanic, yeah. Engineer's too fancy." "You got a busted engine?" Ashera didn't smile. "No, I've come for you." He froze, wrench in hand. What? My family is holding the choosing ceremony tonight. My clan expects a proposal. I'm choosing you." Leo dropped the wrench. Nova Arbor was full of weird. He'd seen six-eyed singers and floating chefs. But being proposed to by a royal alien woman in front of her entire clan, that was new. She tilted her head, her voice calm but certain. "You are intelligent, skilled. You fixed a broken glider using parts from a food printer. My uncle still speaks of it." "That was a rush job," Leo mumbled, suddenly wishing he'd worn cleaner boots. Ashera stepped closer. "You are not like the others. I admire that." Leo looked past her. Outside, a caravan of armored hovercars lined the street. Inside each, warriors with glowing spears waited. "This wasn't a joke. You're serious. I never jest when it concerns union." Leo glanced at the wrench still rolling on the floor. "Can I think about it?" "No," she said. "They're waiting." 10 minutes later, he stood under the twin moons of the city, surrounded by 50 aliens dressed in ceremonial armor. At the center, a platform floated in midair. Ashera stepped onto it and turned to face him. Her voice echoed across the space. "I have chosen." A collective breath swept through the crowd. Leo looked up, sweat on his brow, heart thudding like a broken engine. Ashera extended her hand toward him, and somehow, without fully understanding what he was doing, he took it. The crowd erupted into shimmering applause. Not with hands, most of them didn't have any, but with energy pulses, glowing vibrations, and resonant hums that rippled across the air like music. Leo stood there, frozen, Ashera's hand still in his. Her skin felt warm, humming faintly with power. He didn't know the rules, but something deep in his gut told him he'd just crossed a line he couldn't uncross. The platform rose higher, lifting them above the onlookers. Leo's boots gripped the transparent surface while he tried not to stare straight down. Across from him, Ashera remained calm, unblinking. A silver ring of light wrapped around their joined hands, swirling as if scanning. "You will now be presented to the matron," she said softly, so only he could hear. "Do I bow or salute or just breathe, human?" A massive holographic face shimmered into existence in the sky above. The matron, Ashera's mother. Her voice rolled across the plaza like thunder smoothed by velvet. "The chosen one is human," she said. Unexpected, but witnessed. Leo swallowed hard. "Hi," he muttered up at the sky. Ashura gave the slightest nod. You are now under our rite of engagement. You will be prepared. Prepared for what, exactly? For the trials. Leo squeaked. They are tradition. You must prove your compatibility through 3 tests: strength, intellect, heart. Leo stared at her. That's not romantic at all. It's not meant to be romantic. She replied, it's meant to be binding. Before he could protest further, the platform began to descend. They were immediately surrounded by what looked like ceremonial guardstall, armored figures with eyes like liquid fire. One stepped forward and handed Leo what could only be described as an alien wedding manual, etched crystal tablets bound with magnetic bands. Read this before tomorrow, Ashera said. The first trial begins at dawn. But I don't even know what's in this thing. It doesn't matter, she interrupted. If you fail, the engagement is revoked. Leo raised a brow. Is that a bad thing? Ashera's expression shifted slightly, enough to send a chill through him. It is dishonorable, to me, to you, and to the clan. He looked down at the tablet in his hands, then back at her. So, no pressure. That night, Leo barely slept. He sat in his tiny apartment, reading the glowing alien script as it translated, slowly into shaky English. Symbols lit up one by one. Trial of strength. Survive the arena of Vedran for 3 minutes. Sounds easy. Leo muttered, combatants will include predators, and one personal fear manifest. Oh, he said, that's less easy. Trial of intellect. Decode a quantum lock while under psychological interference. Great alien math and therapy combined. Trial of heart. Confront emotional truth in the mirror of intention. No assistance allowed, Leo. Drops the tablet on his bed. I should have just fixed her glider and gone home. Outside, Nova Arbor glowed peacefully, as if unaware that one terrified mechanic was about to face an ancient alien marriage gauntlet. But even as he tried to sleep, Leo kept thinking of Ashura's face. Not just her strange beauty, but her calmness, her honesty, the way she didn't flinch when the whole city watched her choose him. Maybe. He whispered to the stars outside, this won't be a total disaster. The stars didn't answer. But somewhere across the city, Ashera looked up at those same stars, her glowing eyes reflecting both hope and fear. The arena was unlike anything Leo had ever seen. It wasn't stone and sand like he'd imagined it was glass, light, and air suspended above a field of gravity wells that shifted like ocean currents. Around the hovering platform, crowds of Ashura's people floated in galleries carved from curved crystal. Their eyes shimmered, watching, silent, expecting. Leo stood in the center, wearing a borrowed suit of armor that fit like a borrowed story, to tight in places, to loose in others. The helmet pulsed faintly at his temples, feeding him translated information and basic stats. But it didn't explain how to fight alien beasts or, worse, face his own fear. Ashera stood at the edge of the platform, her hands clasped before her. She didn't speak, but her eyes told him everything. You can do this, or at least try not to die doing it. A horn sounded long, low, and ancient. The arena flickered, lights dimmed, then the trial of strength began. The first creature appeared, from a column of shifting mist. It was low to the ground, all scales and twitching tendrils. It hissed like steam and lunged without warning. Leo dodged sideways, barely avoiding the teeth. He stumbled, rolled, and grabbed the first thing nearby, a metal staff glowing with alien runes. I hope this is a weapon, he muttered. It was. The staff exploded with concussive force when he swung it, sending the beast skidding across the arena floor. It vanished into light. The crowd vibrated, a collective expression of approval. Okay, Leo breathed. One down. The second creature dropped from the ceiling like a shadow, wings made of living smoke. It shrieked, and Leo felt something deep inside his ears crackle. He braced for impact, raised the staff and screamed when the creature vanished. Mid-attack and reappeared behind him. This time he didn't think. He spun and stabbed, hoping instinct would do what training couldn't. It worked, barely. The creature dissolved. The lights flickered. Then everything went still. A cold wind blew through the arena, and from the center mist rose a figure human. Familiar, and Leo froze. It was his father. Not his real one. His memory, his guilt, the way he remembered him before he vanished from Earth without a word. A silhouette of disappointment, all judgment and silence. The crowd didn't move. The projection didn't speak. But Leo heard the words anyway. You never finish anything. You never commit. You never stay. He trembled, dropping the staff. This wasn't a beast. This was worse. You think running from planet to planet makes you strong? Leo stared at the projection, fists clenched. I didn't run, he whispered. I grew. The projection stepped forward. Its face morphed into 1,000 versions of failure, regret, the nights he doubted himself most. I'm not afraid. Of you, Leo said, his voice louder now. I'm not who I was. The arena pulsed. The image cracked, flickered, shattered, silence, then light. A bell rang. The trial ended. Leo fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. The crowd erupted not in cheers, but in reverent tones, a harmonic vibration of respect. Ashera came to him. Her eyes were wide, her expression unreadable. You faced your fear. Yeah, he panted, and punched it in the metaphorical face. Her lips curved slightly. The matron is pleased. He laughed bitterly. Glad someone is. She offered her hand, and he took it. This time, there was no ceremony, no crowd staring. Only her, only him, and a shared silence that meant more than applause. The next morning, the trial chamber shifted. Gone was the hovering arena with its crowds and echoing noise. Now Leo stood alone in a soft white space that bent around the edges like fog made solid. No doors, no roof, just him and a polished wall of shimmering light stretching to infinity. A voice echoed in his mind, left there by a neural whisper implant. This is the trial of heart. You will step forward and face the mirror of intention. It will show you your truest self. Sounds peaceful, Leo muttered, which probably means it's going to suck. He approached the mirror. At first, it just showed his reflection, ruffled hair, burned sleeves, eyes tired but awake in a new way. Then the image shifted. He saw himself 10 years younger, standing beside the wreck of his first hoverbike, crying because he couldn't fix it. Then himself older arguing with his mother before he left Earth. Then again, walking alone on Nova Arbor's lowest street, pretending he liked the silence when it really ate at him. All of them versions of him he didn't want to face merged into one figure in the mirror. It stared back with eyes full of fear. I know what you're doing, Leo whispered. You're trying to show me who I was. The mirror pulsed. Another image formed, absurd, laughing at his jokes, arguing with his logic, standing before her family, proud to have chosen him. Her face, her steadiness, her belief in him. The mirror flickered. Two paths appeared beneath it, one dark, one light. A voice's own rose from the chamber. You can walk away. Forget the trials. Return to your quiet life. Or you can step forward, risk failure, and choose her. Leo stared at the paths. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't built for empires or royal families. He fixed things, that's all. But somewhere between that first proposal and now, something had shifted. He didn't just want to survive this. He wanted to earn it. I choose her, he said. Stepping onto the lighted path, the mirror shattered. When he opened his eyes again, Ashira stood waiting just beyond the chamber's edge. Her expression was unreadable. You made your choice, she said. Leo nodded. Yeah, I chose chaos, danger, and the impossible. I chose you. She blinked slowly, then smiled for the first time without restraint. Then you're ready for the final rite. They stood together on a ceremonial platform hours later. It hovered above the singing gardens, a place of ancient power where sound and energy danced like liquid stars. Around them, her clan gathered. Once more, dressed in ceremonial robes that glowed with the rhythm of their hearts. Ashira stepped forward and removed a pendant from around her neck, an heirloom etched with her clan's crest. She held it out to Leo. Place this on me, she said. It seals our union. Leo took it with trembling fingers and placed it gently around her neck. The air shimmered. She looked at him. Do you accept the bond? I do, Leo said. Even if I'm still not totally sure what it means. Ashira raised her hand. Then you are no longer a guest of the clan. You are of us. You are mine. And as the music swelled and stars burst like fireflies across the night sky, Leo realized the truth of what he'd chosen. Not a title, not a duty, but her. The days that followed blurred into light and ritual. Leo's name was added to the records of Ashura's people, not just as a partner, but as a bonded member of the clan. The ceremony had been only the beginning. The real test, it turned out, was what came after. He moved into a shared residence nestled in the heart of the Theon Spire district hall. Towers that pulsed with soft energy and whispered ancient songs when the wind moved through them. The home was half organic, half machine, and entirely alien. Doors that responded to thought, walls that changed texture with emotion. Even the kitchen hummed in greeting when he entered. I miss knobs and handles, Leo muttered as a cabinet folded open like a flower. Ashira stood beside him, calm as always. You'll get used to it, or it will get used to you. They spent their days adapting, adjusting, building something new between them. She taught him Theon customs, how to address elders, how to interpret skin tones during formal conversation, how to offer silence as respect. He taught her movie references, how to build a sandwich with 4 types of cheese. They laughed more, they argued sometimes. But every evening, they sat together beneath the observation dome and watched the stars drift. One night, Leo turned to her. Do you think we're still pretending? Ashura's gaze stayed on the stars. Were we ever? He thought about that. About the trials, the mirror, the look in her eyes when he chose the light. No, he said, not really. The clan's matron visited a week later. The towering woman stood in Leo's living room, her skin glowing with restrained energy. You have surprised us, human, she said. Most would have broken under the trials. You endured, Leo nodded. I didn't do it alone. Ashira stepped forward. His heart was steady, even when he doubted himself. The matron inclined her head. Then it is settled. The bond is recognized. You are of the Theon. Leo looked at Ashura. So that's it. I'm officially family now. The matron's voice lowered. With family comes duty, and with duty, purpose. Leo raised a brow. That sounds ominous. Ashura smiled. It means you're one of us. For real. They spent their first bonded year traveling between stars. Ashura continued her anthropological studies, and Leo, surprisingly, became her assistant. He documented customs, repaired gear, and learned to fly their transport ship without crashing. Mostly he sent messages back to Earth, short ones, updates to his mother, the occasional photo. In one, he stood next to a floating beast with 10 eyes and a nervous smile. The caption read, "Still alive, still weird, still happy." Their final journey took them to the edge of Theon territory, to a planet surrounded by a nebula so bright it bathed the world in soft gold. It was there that Ashura brought him to a temple carved into the cliffs. "This is where my ancestors recorded their vows," she said. They stood before a panel of glowing runes, and Ashura pressed her hand to the stone. "I have studied 1,000 worlds," she whispered, "but you are the one I choose, not because of law or ceremony, but because in you I see a future." Leo stepped forward, placing his hand beside hers. "I never meant to end up here," he said. "But if the universe had to throw me into something crazy, I'm glad it was you." The temple responded, light blooming around them, sealing the vow in song and color. They stood together, bound by stars, strength, and something even greater, choice.